Grand Rising, everybody. We are back.
Peace, peace.
Sorry for the
Grand Rising.
delays. What the hell?
Peace. I guess we're not live.
I guess we are. There were some ones. If y'all can premise this 111.
Two. She was like, one.
Oh my gosh.
Peace, y'all.
We back.
Do y'all know my desktop just came back up?
I just heard it. That Windows.
I'm like, Jiminy Christmas. Yeah, we back. We had to do some Indian rigging. So I'm working on getting the music back up. Give me a second. Because instead of using Google, I'm going through Microsoft Edge. So let me get some music right quick. Because it's... There we go. Now I got to turn it down. All right. Peace to everybody. Glad everybody hung in there. We're slowly getting everything back. Trying to keep an eye on
Yeah, you can turn the music down a little bit more.
A little bit more? All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Is that better? All right, cool. This space still creeping up there between 95 and 96%. But because I'm not running Google, it's a lot better. So we're going to chalk this up to...
Well, let's say she ain't getting no notifications. She had to use some tingly Indian senses.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think because Google's are going through some upgrades, a lot of things have not been operating the way they're supposed to be operating, I guess, for lack of better terms. So I don't know. Still trying to pull up some more stuff so we can go ahead and get rolling. All right, see how this works. Okay. That's one thing about having all your pages saved. You get spoiled with stuff. So I
Migrate them over.
Yeah, I got a manual type.
Manuel.
right. So any window I don't need, I'm gonna close.
You got the windows open this rising already. What?
Say what?
You said you got your windows open this rising.
No.
Kind of chill.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. All right. We are, man, you realize it's already 9 o'clock? All right.
Them names, though. We should have hit the title to the last minute.
Man, look. And look, everything was fine until I hit the link for the list. Then everything shut down. All right.
Make sure everybody got the double straps on your hard hats for this one.
Yeah.
It's going to be a shocker. And Martin probably need some thick rubber boots, too.
Just getting the levels right. Give me a second. Pamela Hall says she don't want a hard hat. Well, Pamela Hall, we don't want you to have one. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the way you look at it, it's imperative that you have one. Is it going to let me pull up the sound effects? It did that. Okay. Y'all ready? Let's go ahead and do this. Well, let me greet everybody. We didn't get to greet everybody, did we? Went on ahead and got kicked out and everything. Grand Rising to Pamela Hall. Grand Rising David Corey. Grand Rising Lady LJ Free. Grand Rising Enrique. Grand Rising Golden Moon. Grand Rising Oak Cliff. Grand Rising David Corey, if I hadn't said your name already. Grand Rising Marlon P. Copper Color Queen. Want to thank y'all for sticking in there with us. Grand Rising to our new subscriber. Grand Rising to those that's listening and soaking in information. On this episode of Cab Grand Rising Show, Huguenots versus Indians, Protestants in Power, is brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. And who is Autochthonous Assembly? We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, which is the study of families and tracing of their lineage and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigree of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company and essential to our success, and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, know and do what is right; respect, treating others the way we want to be treated; responsibility, embrace opportunities to contribute; servant leadership, serve the common good. And as always, a Octagonist Assembly is here to help you do your genealogy. We're here to help you find out who you are within that genealogy. If you so choose to connect with your tribe, we'll provide the sources and resources to allow you to do that. If you so choose to become financially independent and help your community or help your tribe, we will help you do that as well. We're not saying that you have to do that in order to become financially independent, or that you have to tie into a tribe to become financially independent. We're not telling you any of those things. We're just letting you know that from a past experience, that road is one of the roads least traveled, but is the road that has the most success. So with that, we're going to get to talking about yesterday's show, and we're going to roll into today's. So Bones, you had mentioned that there were some prominent individuals that are Huguenots and that were Huguenots. We know that George Washington's father, his father was a Huguenot, Augustine Sr. We know that his fourth generation grandfather, Nicholas Marteau, was a Huguenot. But what we found, and what you found, and what other members of A2 and other contributing people have found, is that that's just the beginning, if that. There are a lot of other prominent individuals in the French Protestants, aka Huguenot organization, that have a lot of influence in almost every aspect of our life, not just in the United States, but worldwide. So, what do you say to that, Sir Bones?
Don't take them hard hats off. But no, really, it's dealing with this chapter with these Huguenots. It should make you start questioning everything. Really everything. Because the deeper we go, you're going to find out, like TMA just mentioned, they're the reason that you know history the way you know it. The way you know politics. Any aspect of your life that you can think of that's of any importance, they're there. The rewriters of history. Just a little thought. But as we go through these names, the pictures start painting clearer for a lot of people this rising.
Yeah, I put some of the names in the description box. Did anybody see those? Was anybody even paying attention? Probably not.
A quick answer to Copper Color Queen real quick. If you're trying to sign up for the form, hit the form button on the website, and that's where you just register in at.
Enrique says Dubois is what got you. Yeah, there are a lot of names that are recognizable, But what I found, Enrique, is that there are many names that are not recognizable, and the positions that they hold is what's telling.
Oh, they thought Dubois was something. Like I said, y'all better strap in. Whew.
Some of the notable ones that we have down here, Warren Buffett is a Huguenot. E.I. duPont was a Huguenot.
I got it pulled up.
J.D. Rockefeller was a Huguenot. David Corey said the DuPont family.
Yep.
Sam Walton, founder of Sam's Club and Walmart, is a Huguenot.
Walmart. Wally World.
Whole Walton family.
Yeah. Man, it goes as far even Peter Griffin from the Family Guy.
Is
a Huguenot.
Is a Huguenot.
Come on.
David Corey says, "Oh, this is some bullish." Well, David, strap in because it's about to get really thick. So where do we start? Goldemon says not Wally World.
Was it arts and entertainment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got it pulled back up in front of me, man.
Yeah. We have, now they got them listed by categories. You have arts and entertainment, education, entrepreneurs and business people, journalism, law, medicine, military, politics and government, religion, science, sports, other. And then there's references at the bottom.
Like they everywhere. These are questions where they not at.
So we have James Agee, American screenwriter, Pulitzer Prize winning author. Now these are all Huguenots. Earl W. Bascom, American rodeo cowboy artist, sculptor. Pierre Bayle, French author, philosopher. Frédéric Brazil, French impressionist painter. Marlon Brando, American actor.
Not the Godfather, man. Not the Godfather.
The Godfather. Sébastien Bourdon, French painter. Hoblet Knight Brown, this is Fizz, British illustrator of Charles Dickens. Timothy Chalamet, French and American actor. Samuel Chapuzot, French author, poet, playwright. Jessica Chastain, American actress. William Christopher, American actor. Grand Rising Macadam 1. Benjamin Constant, Swiss writer. Mommy Dearest herself, Joan Crawford, American actress. American folk hero, Davy Crockett. Agrippa de Abenay, French poet. I probably saying it wrong, so forgive me. Golden Moon, you that's something that's very important that that people need to pay attention to. Golden Moon says so the families know who they are. So through bloodline they have things already set up. So they can continue controlling the narrative, just an assumption. Not only that, but because they know who they are, they know what the narrative is, and it's easier to control that narrative. And because we don't know who we are, and we don't tie into our genealogy, we're going to believe any narrative that's told. How many of us have come across people that believe that everybody came from Africa? I mean, so.
And we mentioned about the Huguenot societies, and what's their main qualification for their society? And is genealogy tying in by blood to a Huguenot?
Yep, you have to be. If you're not, or you're not affiliated, it's just like a tribe, you ain't getting in.
Nope.
So, something to think about. Copper Indio says, sorry for being late to the party. Is Ross Perot Huguenot as well? We can look him up. Oh, and for the record, Copper, you're just on time. We just got back up at 9. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties. Where we at? Marie de Cote Blanche, known for her skill in languages and the translation of works from Spanish to French. Huguenot. Jean Delanoy, French actor, film editor, screenwriter, and film director. Louis de Rochemont, filmmaker. Richard de Rochemont, filmmaker. Notice the titles that these people have. Johnny Depp, actor. Now, I don't know if y'all remember Johnny Depp going on his rant about how he hates America and how he's going to live in France. Does it make sense now?
Oh, man, come on. See, so you legitimize beef with Johnny Depp?
Man.
Look, never mind, I ain't going to get into that. But that's a... Touche, Sir Thomas, touche.
Hey, man, look, everybody get lucky every once in a while.
I find it interesting he found a way to work that in.
I find it interesting that it lines up, that you can actually hate for a reason. I get it now. The reason for everything.
Sure.
Now, one time we get her to come on, and she come on and say that, really, Free, this is what you're doing? Okay.
Grand Rising, everyone.
I mean, I'm just giving people some perspective. We got John Theophilus. Take two. We have John Theophilus de Gaulier, French-born British natural philosopher, clergyman, engineer, Freemason who was elected to the Royal Society in 1714 as experimental assistant to Isaac Newton. Do we need to look up what the Royal Society is? I think we do. Royal Society. I put this in a chat. Why will it not let me copy and paste this? Interesting. Copy. Paste. It will not let me paste anything in this chat.
I'm heading to the office to hop on all the machines.
Okay.
Everything started going wacky at the house. I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna get it.
Hey, I'm on the move, so ain't nothing happening to me. Y'all better get with it.
You know what? Anyway, I'm reading from the Royal Society. We'll put the link in the back chats, in the forum and in the chats. It reads: the President's Council and Fellows of the Royal Society of London for Improving Natural Knowledge. That's what the title is. Known as the Royal Society, is a learned society founded on 28 November 1660. It was granted a royal charter by King Charles II as a Royal Society. It is the oldest national scientific institution in the world. Boo.
Hold on, say that again one more time.
It is the oldest national scientific institution in the world. The society is the United Kingdom's and Commonwealth of Nations Academy of Sciences and fulfills a number of roles, promoting science and its benefits, recognizing excellence in science, supporting outstanding science, providing scientific advice for policy, fostering international and global cooperation, education, and public engagement.
Man.
Did y'all not hear that? Can you say controlling the narrative?
Do they? They just had it in plain writing what that organization was designed to do.
It says the society is governed by its council, which is chaired by the society's president. According to a set of statutes and standing orders, the members of council and the president are elected from and by its fellows. The basic members of the society, who are themselves elected by existing fellows, as of 2016, there are about 1,600 fellows. Allowed to use the post-nominal title, FRS, Fellow of the Royal Society, with up to 52 new fellows appointed each year. There are also Royal Fellows, Honorary Fellows, Foreign Members, the last of which are allowed to use the post-nominal titles Former, F-O-R-M-E-M-R-S. Four members, Foreign Member of the Royal Society. The Royal Society President is Venkatraman Ramakrishnan, who took up the post on 30 November 2015. Since 1967, the society has been based at 69 Carlton House Terrace, A-grade I-listed building in central London, which was previously used by the Embassy of Germany. So the individual that heads this up, they call him Venki Ramakrishna. It says he is an Indian-born American-British structural biologist. In 2009, he shared the Nobel Prize in Chemistry with Thomas A. Stites and Ada Yonup for studies of the structure and function of the ribosome. He was elected president of the Royal Society for a term of 5 years starting in 2015. So his term is coming up in 2020. Since 1999, he has worked as a group leader at the Medical Research Council, MRC Laboratory of Molecular Biology at Cambridge Biomedical Campus. So this individual, he's when they say Indian born, meaning he's from India.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Not American Indian or Native American, yeah. So, since he assumed office, he is the 62nd president of the Royal Society. The president before him was Paul Nurse. It says citizenship, United Kingdom, United States. So that means he's a dual citizen. It says he has one son and one stepdaughter. He resides in the United Kingdom. He has a lot of degrees. He has a lot of awards. I'm just trying to figure out if he has any religious standing that would align with Protestants. Doesn't look like it. But yeah, he currently has the Royal Society. The reason why I looked at that was because it was interesting that we'll mention that this gentleman, John Theophilus de Segolier, was elected to the Royal Society and worked with Isaac Newton. So now we're back to the list of the Huguenots that are prominent. Protestants.
I see Isaac Newton lit up, so he a Huguenot too, huh?
I think so. Hold on. Open the tab. Sir Isaac Newton was an English mathematician, physician, astronomer, theologian, and author. Described in his own day as a natural philosopher, who is widely recognized as one of the most influential scientists of all time and a key figure in the scientific revolution. His nationality is English. Alma mater Trinity College. Awards, fields, institutes. He was a member of the Royal Society as well.
Yep, so we know what that means, Huguenot.
David Core said, he's not a knot.
Think about, we just got to them with science and what they was responsible for. Isn't their model to spread liberty around the world? Was their form of liberty around the world?
Yeah.
Don't sell out. My neck hurt.
They're also responsible for a lot of theories, if you think about it. our ancestors had a lot of concrete information that had been around for millennia. And then all of a sudden, you get a new people in power, and you get a bunch of theories that have never been proven.
That's
Grand
facts.
Rising Free, even though you just get the mess out of me.
My apologies, Grand Rising. You should be used to my voice, Scotty.
I wasn't expecting it because I switched to the phone and moved to the office. I just hear a voice coming like, what the? Hold up.
It's just me.
Grand Rising.
Almost gave the man a heart attack. That was not good.
He's Brazilian.
See, I ain't the only one. You got other people. I walk in, they listen. That's who I think it is.
What's good, people?
Welcome.
Really? Y'all funny. As for you, always know you're welcome to be on. It's always a pleasure to have you on. So thanks for
See,
joining.
y'all say that, and then I scare y'all when I come in the room.
No, you didn't scare me.
Y'all see how that works out there? Y'all
I
see what
ain't
they just did? I'm kidding. Let's continue. Let's stay on track. I'm kidding.
Okay, so now we have Pierre de Maison, author. Jim.ste.croix, British writer, historian. Théophile de Vaux, poet, dramatist. Brooke d'Orsay, Canadian, actress. Guillaume de Saloste du Bartas, French poet. Daphne du Maurier, English writer. George du Maurier, English author, cartoonist. Gerald du Maurier, English actor. There's a whole bunch of Dumars. I.D. du Plessis, South African writer, member of the Diggers Group. Diggers Group. Okay, it's highlighted, so let's see what they're about. The Dirtigers, or writers of the 30s, are a group of Afrikaans language South African poets who achieved new heights of eloquence in the young language's early decade in the 20th century. Whoa. Rewind that. Dirtigers, or writers of the 30s, are a group of Afrikaans spelled Afrikaans language South African poets who achieved new heights of eloquence in the young language's early decades of the 20th century. So wait a minute. They're saying in the young language's early decades of the 20th century. So when did this language come about?
Not until the Huguenots got to Southwest Africa and created the Afrikaans and Afrikaan language.
So it reads, the Dirtigers arose after the Tweed Essem, second breath. Writers of the first decades of the 20th century, the year of 1934 is often selected as the breakthrough date for the Dirtigers. W.E.G. Lew, Dirique Duas, The Rich Fool, appeared in that year. The Dirtigers strove to write a more emotionally intense, soul-bearing poetry than their predecessors. They assuaged gentlemanist and bourgeois convention in order to produce a more honest and intimate poetry. Further aim of the Dirtigers was the effort to achieve a literary greatness that would make its mark in world literature. In an attempt to express their humanity to the fullest, the poetry of the Dirtigers has a confessional quality in which the poet seems to be overheard in the midst of a prayer or confession. The result effect of this ambitious goals was heightened respect for the professionalism of the poet. The choice of the precise word stood as a ever-present poetic goal. Nonetheless, the Dirtigers continued to refine their language close to their spectacle. Spreektaal. Oh, hold on. Spreektaal. 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 The language of the people. While the descriptions of nature that characterize Tweed, SM, poets remain, these depictions of the landscape are harnessed to attempts to create mood and atmosphere within the poet's own soul. The leading figures of the Dirtigers are the brothers N.P. van Wyckelo and W.E.G. Lowe, Krieg, and Elizabeth Ebers. Also associated with this movement are C.M. van den Heever and I.D. du Plessis. So that's a society who is trying to achieve a poetic literary height never before achieved. Sounds like some bougie stuff to me. Be quiet, free.
I'm not saying a word. I'll remain on mute. But you telling me to be quiet in that moment actually does a lot. I'm just saying.
Grand Rising, Mike Easton.
Well.
That is that is my way of not saying anything to free and staying on top.
Mm-hmm.
So the Dirtigers. Okay, then we have Max du Preez, South African author, columnist, and documentary filmmaker, founding editor of Vrij Weekblad. Sean Elps, South African writer, filmmaker. Wilhelmina Fitzclarence, English author. Theodore Fontaine, German novelist, poet. Johnny Foray, South African jazz guitarist. Notice all of the individuals that are in the Huguenots so far are from South Africa.
They say South, but we know it's Southwest Africa.
Mm-hmm. And we'll tell you how we know that shortly. Philip Morin Frino, American poet. How you got a French last name and you're an American poet? Anyway. Judy Garland, American actress and singer. David Garrick, English actor. Andre Gide, French author, Nobel Prize winner. Jean-Luc Godard, French film director. Dashiell Hammett, American author. Nicholas Harnoncourt, Austrian conductor. Eddie Izzard, English comedian actor. Derek Jacobi, English actor. Elsa Joubert, South African novelist. Victor Lardent, British advertising designer who drew Times New Roman. So I'm going to stop right there. Victor Lardent, he's a British advertiser, designer who drew Times New Roman. At one particular time, Times New Roman was one of the most prominent and mostly used fonts when it came to writing.
Yes, it was.
Now, out of all the fonts that exist, why that one? Why him? What Free say? Oh yeah, that is a good one. The haves and the have-nots. Wow. You go not, or you got not, or you
Exactly.
have not.
David Corey actually inspired that from a comment that he made. This is why I love this particular platform, because it really is a place where the work gets done, because when great minds gather together, we spark something within each other. And I love the builds that happen here. So Big ups to everyone involved. Love y'all.
Shaba. Oh, never mind.
Perfect response.
Where we at? So now.
Times New Roman.
Oh yeah, Times New Roman. Thanks. William Larmini, Irish poet. Christian Ignatius Latrobe. Christian Ignatius Latrobe, British clergyman, composer, and musician. Simon Le Bon, English musician and frontman of the pop rock group Duran Duran, The Reflex. Do y'all remember that? Well, some of y'all probably don't because y'all weren't born then. I always thought that group had on a little bit too much makeup. That's just me.
Leave one alone.
What you about to say, Bones? Thanks, Free. I don't feel so bad.
No, I was just stamping on your statement, putting a stamp on it.
Appreciate you both. Sheridan Le Fanu, Irish writer. Jacques Le Monet, French artist, explorer. Madeleine L. Ingle, American author. Jean Etienne Lyotard, Swiss painter. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, American poet. Pierre Loti, French Orientalist writer. What is an Orientalist? Orientalist writer. What is that? Let's see. In art history, literature, and cultural studies, Orientalism is the imitation or depiction of aspects of the Eastern world. These depictions are usually done by writers, designers, and artists from the West. In particular, Orientalist painting, depicting more specifically the Middle East, was one of the many specialisms of the 19th century. Academic art and the literature of Western countries took similar interest in Oriental themes. Since the publication of Edward Said's Orientalism in 1978, much academic discourse has begun to use the term Orientalism to refer to a general patronizing Western attitude towards Middle Eastern Asia and North African societies. In Said's analysis, the West essentializes these societies as static and undeveloped, thereby fabricating a view of Oriental culture that can be studied, depicted, and reproduced. Implicit in this fabrication, Wright said, is the idea that Western society is developed, rational, flexible, and superior. Are y'all paying attention to this?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, this was done because this was done in the 19th century, so in the 1800s. There were no movies. There were no websites. So you got to see the world either by going to see the world or through pictures and books and paintings. So Orientalism took advantage of this and gave you their depiction of the West. Of the East from the West.
And to add a little bit more on to what you was reading on, it was yesterday when we was doing some reading. Come to find out, the French had colonies, what we know now as China. And the Chinese government and French government had a working relationship at this time.
So they were making pictures, making art, selling it, and then giving people a false or their own interpretation of what it was like to live over there. No different than only allowing certain shows to depict to depict who we are as a people. Exactly, Cliff, aka entertainment. But it's miseducating. So it's miseducating entertainment.
Think about it.
Edutainment.
What category are we in right now? Arts and entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So where my list at? I'm looking for my list. Gotta get back. Society. There we go. Pamela Hall says Hollywood. Peter Wood. You kill Kenny. Alright. What was we at? Got to Orientalism. Writer, composer, editor. Oh, there it is. Okay. Charles Maturin, Irish Gothic writer. Jacques Louis Monod, pianist, composer, teacher. Carl Ornick, German landscape painter. Laurence Olivier, English actor. Bernard Palissy, French potter. Tom Paulin, British poet and critic. Who is he critiquing? John Pertwee, English actor. Sean Pertwee, English actor. James Blanche, British dramatist, officer of arms. Tyrone Power, actor. Tyrone Power, Sr., actor. Andre Rison, French composer and organist. Kate Ranson, Australian actress. Miranda Ranson, English screen and stage actress. Frederick Remington, American artist, sculptor. Keith Richards, English musician. What else did Keith Richards do? Lead guitarist for the Rolling Stones. He's still the lead guitarist for the Rolling Stones, if I'm not mistaken. Damon Runyon.
So I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So why didn't they put that? They put old boy was a front man for Duran Duran, but they don't put Keith Richards as a lead guitarist for Rolling Stone, one of the more popular rock bands that's still in existence to this day. Anyway.
Hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. Damon Runyon, American author. Julia Sawalha, British actress of Huguenot and Jordanian ancestry. Why is that important? Jordanian. Let's see. Officially, the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan is an Arab country in Western Asia on the east bank of the Jordan River. Jordan is bordered by Saudi Arabia to the south and the East Iraq to the north, East Syria to the north, and Israel and Palestine, West Bank to the west. The Dead Sea is located along its western borders, and the country has a small coastline to the Red Sea. It is extreme southwest, but is otherwise landlocked. Jordan is strategically located at the crossroads of Asia, Africa, and Europe. The capital, Amman, is Jordan's most populous city, as well as the country's economic, political, and cultural center. What is now Jordan? Exactly. And then it goes on, because this is gonna spark something. What is now Jordan has been inhabited by humans since the Paleolithic period. 3 stable kingdoms emerged there at the end of the Bronze Age: Ammon, Moab, and Edom. Later rulers included the Nabatean Kingdom, the Roman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire after the Great Arab Revolt against the Ottomans in 1916 during World War I. The Ottoman Empire was partitioned by Britain and France. There they go again. The Aramite and Transjordan was established in 1921 by the Hashemite, then Emir Abdullah I, and the Emirate became a British protectorate. In 1946, Jordan became an independent state, officially known as the Hashemite Kingdom of Transjordan, but was renamed in 1949 to the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan after the country captured the West Bank during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War and annexed it until it was lost to Israel in 1967. Maybe that's the reason why they placed a emphasis on her lineage.
It has to be, because that location is a power seat, if you think about it. What we often do, because of the way we were educated, we tend to carve up land the same way we see them carved up all the time. And in doing so, it's easy to start mixing up who is really who. Same way it happens in the Americas with tribes. If you take all the lines off and then you know that it's just indigenous Indios, that's one thing. Then when you put all these different lines and say, this is this person, da, da, da. Same thing applies overseas. That landmass of Europe going into Asia, why are we carving that up? They made a special point to put a canal to separate Africa from that same landmass. So why do we then keep separating these family groups? We have to rethink everything.
Facts. Good point.
And if I may add this as well.
Go ahead.
They always say that the Roman Empire disbanded. But at the end of the day, when you look at what they claim for power seats, initially it was Caesar. And he was supposed to be like the ruler of all man, like the ruler of everything, except for like he didn't have the power of God. They went from being a military power to being a religious power. Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican is where? In Rome. I say that to say, they are still very much in power. They just switched titles from Caesar to the Pope. A Pope is said to be the vicar of Christ, or the one who sits in the seat of God on earth. So remember what I said about Caesar. He had power over man, but he didn't have the power of God. You put down the sword, plunge your sword into the ground. Kind of looks like a cross, doesn't it? Put down your sword and you take up this mantle of religion, again, legion, and legion just happens to be a French word. That's a little hint. When you do that, it's easier to subdue people. I come in peace. They come in peace, but they bring a sword. Just because you plunge it in the ground, if you make us kneel to it, it's still a weapon against us. So I'll pause there because I know we're not fully all the way where we kind of need to be to really break down who the Huguenots are, but those are just a few little nuggets to keep in mind as we continue to build.
Free. We still have some folks who haven't gotten their custom chin straps in yet, so
sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies. I'll go on mute. For my apologies.
I appreciate it.
Continue.
It was helpful. Help me understand it. I got a better understanding of it. So
perspective is everything. So
exactly.
Just trying to add a little nuggets here and there.
Appreciate you as always. See people in the chat, thank you. So the pay, no sellout, no mind.
Yeah, don't do that.
Copper Color Queen said that's what's been on my mind for a while. Mr. TJ said I think it's all dog and the pony show. The milk and honey over her. Alright, so let me get back to the list. There we go. Okay, we almost finished with the actors and stuff. So the last person I read was. Go ahead.
It's the lightest category out of all of them.
I know,
Act,
right?
art, entertainment. After this, it's really don't take that hat off.
I know. So then you got John Spencer Churchill, English painter and sculptor, and nephew of Sir Winston Churchill. Charlize Theron, South African actress. Henry David Thoreau, American writer. Dorothy V. Hammond, German storyteller, source for the fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm. John Greenleaf Whittier, American poet. Mike Eason says, yes, all the light Arabs over here have Roman and Greek blood in them because the original peoples of the land are a dark people, and those people spread into Africa. But all that is Africa. So that was the list of Huguenots in the arts and entertainment. And as you can see, many of them are Pulitzer Prize winners. They're not only actors and actresses, but they're the influencers. They're the philosophers. They're the playwrights. They're the directors. They're the poets. They have influence. They're the filmmakers. They're the historians. So, when we said Protestants in power, that won't clickbait. So let's get into the education. Hosea Ballot, first president of Tufts University. Okay, I'll bite. What's Tufts University? Of course. Tufts
Where
University.
you go to get tough?
Say what?
Where you go to get tough?
Maybe. It's a private research university in Medford and Somerville, Massachusetts. A charter member of the New England Small College Athletic Conference. Tufts College was founded in 1852 by Christian Universalists who worked for years to open a non-sectarian institution of higher learning. It was a small New England liberal arts college until its transformation into a larger research university in the 70s. The university emphasizes active citizenship and public service in all its disciplines, and is known for its internationalism and study abroad programs. Aha! Tufts is organized into 10 schools, including 2 undergraduate degree programs and 8 graduate divisions on 4 campuses in Boston metropolitan area and the French Alps. Among its schools is the United States' oldest graduate school of international relations, the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy. You got to be kidding me.
Man, you can't make this up.
Tufts' largest school is the School of Arts and Science, which offers undergrads and graduate degrees and includes both a Graduate School of Arts and Science and a School of the Museum of Fine Arts at Tufts University, which is affiliated with the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. No. The School of Engineering has an entrepreneurial focus with the Gordon Institute and maintains close connections with the original college. The university has a campus in downtown Boston that houses the medical, dental, and nutrition schools, affiliated with several medical centers in the area. The university offers joint undergraduate degree programs with the New England Conservatory and the Sciences Po Paris, with additional programs with the University of Paris, University of Oxford, and the constituents of the University of London. Several of its programs have affiliations with the nearby institutions of Harvard University and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Alumni and affiliates include Nobel laureates, billionaires, heads of states, governors, senators, representatives, Emmy and Academy Award winners, National Academy members. Tufts has also graduated several Rhodes, Marshall, Fulbright, Truman, and Goldwater scholars. Other notable alumni include numerous CEOs and founders of Fortune 500 companies, high-ranking U.S. diplomats, and Pulitzer Prize winners. Y'all got it? Y'all get this now? Y'all see this, right?
Like we mentioned before, a lot of your education on how you view the world comes from out of Boston, out of these Huguenot universities.
You basically go to one of these universities. If you can get in this university, it sounds like you guaranteed to be successful regardless.
Yep.
And that was the first person I read off of education. Jean Bellarmine, French scholar, French language tutor to King Edward V and Queen Elizabeth I. Anthony Benezet, American Quaker, educator, and abolitionist. Jacques Bongards, he's a scholar. Ferdinand Buisson, educator, academic pacifist, Nobel Peace Prize winner. Isaac Casaubon, scholar. Merrick Casaubon, scholar, translator. Harriet Martineau, English writer, educational and economic reformer. James Martineau, English philosopher, educator, Unitarian minister. Louise Page Mercer, British translator of Jules Verne into English. Gabriel Monod, historian. Petrons Ramos, Pierre de la Rome, French humanist, logician, educational reformer. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Swiss writer, philosopher, social, and educational theorist. And that is that list. Those are some heavy hitters, man. Had anybody ever heard of that school before? Tufts University?
My first time.
You see the connections that I had at that school?
Mm-hmm. Remember, like they said, the Huguenots are responsible for the spread of the education and all that coming from out of Boston.
So let's look at the entrepreneurs and business people. Y'all ready? Carl Benz, German inventor. Warren Buffett, investor, wealthiest person in the world in 1995 and 2008. It's Tufts University, David. Tufts. Jean Calas, French merchant, son's murder case championed by Voltaire. Jean Chardin, later senior Jean Chardin, French jeweler and traveler. Samuel Courtauld, industrialist, American-born, British industrialist. Let's see what an industrialist is. Okay, it says this is from 1793. He was born in 1793 and died in 1822. He was an English industrialist who developed his family firm. No, he died in 1881, excuse me. He developed his family's firm, Courtaulds, and to become one of the leading names in the textile business in Britain. So, industrialist is dealing with textiles and things of that nature. Okay.
Can you say hemp?
Yeah. He was baptized in a French Protestant church on London Huguenots. Would become a keen Unitarian. Samuel Courtauld would follow his father in both regards. Samuel Courtauld adopted Louisa Ruth Lowe after her mother died of perpetual fever some 11 days after her birth. When he died in 81, she inherited his Essex estate of Gosfield Hall and much of his fortune. I'm trying to see if he had any ties to the States. Doesn't look like it. But that doesn't mean he didn't. And him being a Huguenot, he would have, I'm sure he had some ties. It says Courtauld textile business was founded in 1794 in Pimmarsh in Essex. The business was originally throsters, that is, producers of yarn, but later specialized in weaving, as in silk and crepe fabrics. George Courtauld and his cousin Peter Taylor developed the business over 2 decades, but faced difficulties in the lean years following the end of Napoleonic Wars. When the competition from the continent was restored in 1816, the father decided to retire from the business and hand over his share of the business to his sons. It was to be the making of the firm. Okay, so just wanted to know what a industrialist is. Now I know. Then you have Samuel Courtauld, same name, same spelling, but this one's an art collector. And he's the grandnephew of the industrialist businessman art collector. Salomon de Brosse, French architect. Robert Champion de Crespigny, Australian businessman. Gustaf de Laval, Swedish engineer, inventor. I.E. duPont, founder of the DuPont company. Gustave Fabergé, Russian jeweler. Peter Carl Fabergé, Russian jeweler. James Gandon, Anglo-Irish Georgian architect. Charles Guide, French economist. Jean-Francois Hobler, watch and clock maker. Howard Hughes, American inventor, industrialist, billionaire.
Say it ain't so.
Howard Hughes, American inventor, industrialist, billionaire. Leonard Jerome, American financier, grandfather of Winston Churchill.
Man.
Benjamin Henry Latrobe, British-born architect of the United States Capitol. Benjamin Henry Latrobe II, American engineer. Henry Lawrence, American merchant, delegate of the Continental Congress. Daniel Myron Lefebvre, American gunmaker. Richard Lepastier, Australian architect. John Pentard, American merchant philanthropist. Jay Susquehanna said, this is crazy. Jay, we're going over the Huguenots, bro.
We still ain't getting nowhere yet. This ain't nothing to what's on the other side of the list, man.
Thomas Ravenel, American real estate developer, politician, reality TV star. Are you kidding me? John D. Rockefeller.
One more time, please. That name, one more time. That's
John D. Rockefeller, American capitalist.
What?
Who is that? I've never heard that name before.
Aha!
The
I'm
founder,
going to tie to the West Coast later on down the line. Remember that name.
the founder of Standard Oil. Yeah, I know what he found.
Repeat his name one more time. The Standard Oil dude.
Yeah, J.D. Rockefeller.
Just in case anybody just walked in the room.
Yeah.
Kaboom. More to come.
He founded that oil in Oklahoma, I think it was.
Yeah, once Once they sent the Indians out there and found out there was oil on the land, that's when they came up with the Dawes Rolls to give them less land because the state can take more from the real oil.
And then
That's why the Dawes Rolls was created.
And John was able to buy that oil, buy those mineral rights. Again, buy those mineral rights.
Pennies on the dollar.
Jay Susquehanna says, I'm about to drop a video on white slavery, going to clear up a lot. That's what's up, Jay. Let us know so we can let everybody else know. Robert Louis Roumieu, British architect. Marvin Travis Runyon, American business executive. Jean-Baptiste Say. No, his name is Say, S-A-Y. French economist, businessman. Gottfried Semper, German architect, art critic. John E. Tourtellotte, American architect. Sam Walton, founder of Walmart and Sam's Club. That's right. The founder of Wally World is a Huguenot.
Oh no!
And his relatives stay in the top 10 of the wealthiest Americans in the world. Obadiah Williams, Irish merchant.
Now it's gonna start getting super good. Journalism, whew.
Macadon 1 says, after the World Wars, America hired most of their so-called enemies as scientists, engineers, etc. Now I know why. He said, bro, this is heavy.
All Huguenots, they really wasn't enemies.
Yeah, they're Huguenots everywhere. They're all over the world.
Yeah, they went in and came. Boy, look at you. Whew.
All right, so now we're going to get into the journalism. Tom Brokaw, American television journalist and author. Frank DeFord, American sports writer. Ryan Mallon, South African journalist. Giles Romilly, British journalist, Nazi POW, nephew of Winston Churchill. Peregrine Worthstorn, British journalist. John Mary Lesage, British journalist. That's it for journalism. Let's go into law. We're going to have to actually look up these people and see what they do to see exactly what part they play. But for right now, we're just going to give you the names. Law. Charles Anchion, French jurist diplomat. Claude Browson, lawyer and preacher. What?
Hold on, a lawyer and a preacher at the same time? He two chaining?
Law and religion.
Anton Court, French reformer. Warden Crescent, American writer, first U.S. consul to Jerusalem, convert to Judaism. What the hell? John Jay, first Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, how come when I say his name, I want to finish it like it's a song? John J. Jingleheimer. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, let me stop.
Yeah. His name is my name, too. Yeah.
No, you're not.
Paul Ricoeur, philosopher. Now, these are people in law. but his title is philosopher. John Romilly, English judge. Now hold on. Oh, that was Giles Romilly. So I guess Giles Romilly is his brother. Anton Friedrich Justus Theobald, German jurist. Friedrich Karl von Savigny, German jurist. Medicine. Lou Andreas Salomon, Russian-born psychoanalyst and author. Charles Agibard, French-born British apothecary? What is that? Apothecary is a term for a medical professional who formulates and dispenses medicia to physicians, surgeons, and patients. The modern pharmacist. Okay.
Apothecary.
Apothecary.
Who's a drug dealer?
No. He's a pharmaceutical.
Legal pharmacist.
Okay, so now we have George de Benneville, physician and early universalist. Campbell de Morgan, British surgeon. John Misabin, French-born British physician. Ambrose Paré, French surgeon. Peter Mark Roget, British physician, compiler of the Thesaurus. Y'all hear that? And this is medicine. So why is a physician compiling the Thesaurus?
What's the thesaurus for? It gives you alternate ways of saying the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Masters of spelling.
Masters of the
I was trying to get to that. Yeah. Spells.
Grammar. All ties together.
Yes, ma'am. John Andre. Now we're in the military. John Andre, British officer and spy. Macadon once says, wordplay at its finest. Exactly. Francis Beaufort, hydrographer of the British Admiralty. Salomon de Brosse, French general. John Blossé, British soldier, led British expedition to aid Salomon Bolivar to the wars of independence against Spain. Marquis Combs, general, veteran of the American Revolution and the War of 1812. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, Union general in the U.S. Civil War, governor of the state of Maine. Now you notice these people don't have regular titles, right?
Yep.
I mean, they are high-ranking individuals. They just not know anybody. You ain't seen nobody that was a private first class or a specialist or, first mate or none of that. Piet Congé, leader of the Transvaal Republic's military forces during the First and Second Anglo-Boer Wars. And I skipped Frederick Cockayne Elton, Crimean War recipient of the Victorian Cross. François de Beauvais, Seigneur du Brigmont, French soldier. Henry de Bourbon, Prince de Condé, French general. Louis L. de Bourbon, Prince de Condé, another French general. Alfred Gardine de Chalestelane, British Army Lieutenant Colonel, member of the Special Operations Executive. Gaspard II de Coligny, French Admiral. Hector Francois Catenaire de Cramae, French soldier, assisted William of Orange in the taking of the British throne. Peter de la Billière, British military commander. Francois de Lannoy, French soldier called Bras de Fer, Iron Arm. Henry de la Tour de Arvin, Duke of Balion, French soldier, Prince of Sedan, Prince of Sedan, Marshal of France. Ulrich de Mazaret, German general. John Watts de Peyster, American brevet major general in the American Civil War. Henry du de Rohan, French soldier. Jacques de Soares, pirate, nicknamed El Ange Exterminator, the exterminating angel. Charles de Teligny, French soldier, diplomat. Jean Ducasse, French buccaneer admiral. Y'all notice all these names appear to be French. Y'all notice that? Okay, just checking. Christian Dutoy, South African military commander. Charles Fitzroy, British Army officer. Henry Gage III, Viscount Gage, Major General in the British Army. Adolf Galland, German Luftwaffe General, World War II fighter ace. Henry Geisen, Commander-in-Chief of the Swiss Army during World War II. Peter Horry, American Revolutionary War General. Benjamin Huger, American Civil War General, Confederate. Petrus Jacobs Joubert, Boer Commandant General of South African Republic from 1880 to 1900. Jean L'Archevêque, French explorer, soldier, merchant, trader. John Lawrence, American Revolutionary War hero. Francois Leclerc, pirate, known as Jambe de Bois, or wooden leg. Anton Wilhelm von El Estoc, Prussian general. John Ligonier, First Earl Legionnaire, Commander-in-Chief of the British Army. Adolf Malan, South African World War II fighter pilot ace. Magnus Malan, former South African Minister of Defense, Chief of South African Defense Force, Chief of the South African Army. Did anybody know that's I didn't even know South Africa had an army.
I didn't know about Huguenots until recently. I didn't know Huguenots were the originators of the African language until recently. Lots of pieces coming together.
Touche, LJ Free. Touche.
Ooh la la.
Ain't touche a French word too?
Indeed it is.
Dagnabbit. That's probably French too. Anyway. Arthur Middleton Manigault, American Civil War General, Confederate. You ever notice that none of the Civil War people were on the Union side? Now watch, as soon as I say that, they'll be one on the Union side. Francis.
No, you had that one. There was only been one so far, the one that became the governor of Maine.
Oh, okay. Francis Marion, American Revolutionary War guerrilla fighter. Hans Joachim Maricel, German Luftwaffe ace. Peter Marney, Colonel, Rhode Island Militia. Charles Manigault Morris, American naval officer, Confederate. George S. Patton, Jr., U.S. World War II Army General. J. Johnson Pettigrew, American Civil War General, Confederate. George Pickett, American Civil War General, Confederate. Charles Portal, British Chief of Air Staff, 1940 to 1945. Combined Chiefs of Staff, 1942 to 1945. The British are coming. Paul Revere, American's silversmith, famous for Paul Revere's ride at the outbreak of the American War of Independence. Jean Ribault, naval officer, colonizer. Barry St. Leger, British officer. Charles C. Two, Colonel, Confederate Army, States Army. Jean Verker, 6th Viscount Court Chief of the Imperial General Staff of the British Army, Commander of the British Expeditionary Forces, World War II descendants of the North American Delancey family. Constant Villogen, leader of the South African Freedom Front, SADF General. John Bordenave Villepigue, American Civil War General, Confederate. John C. Villepigue, Medal of Honor winner. Lothar von Arnold de la Pierre, highest scoring German U-boat commander in World War I. Kurt von Francois, German soldier and administrator in German Southwest Africa, now Namibia. Hold on. Kurt von Francois, he's a German soldier, administrator in German Southwest Africa, now Namibia. Hermann von Francois, German World War I general.
You know, it'd be interesting
What's
going
that?
through these war people to probably take some time. I know we won't be doing it now. Some time and put the years together when these people were in their positions. Then look at the wars that way. Because if all these people are Huguenots and under one alliance, depending on what time they were in militaries and doing in particular positions, it clear up the story a lot more too.
Timeline. Yep. I agree.
Whew, we got some work to do. All right, let's get to y'all ready for the politics and government?
Tighten up them hard hats.
Yeah, this is about to get fun. All right, John Bascom, American University president and writer. Ruth Bascom, American politician, mayor of Eugene, Oregon. Thomas Henry Barclay, American loyalist during the American Revolutionary War and pre-Confederation Nova Scotian politician. Nova Scotia is where Canada is. Isaac Bear, British politician, gave his name to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, Bear, Massachusetts, and Bear, Vermont. James A. Bayard, U.S. Congressman. John M. Barron, United States Senator from Georgia, and Andrew Jackson's Attorney General. Francis Bertie, First Viscount Bertie of Thame, British Ambassador to Italy, Ambassador to France. Jessie Boshret, English campaigner for women's rights. Elias Boudinot. Did I get it right?
Yep.
Yay. President of the Continental Congress. James Bowdoin, Governor of Massachusetts. James Bowdoin III, American statesman, philanthropist, benefactor of Bowdoin College. Bryant Butler Brooks, Governor of Wyoming. William Byrd, early Virginia settler. Francois Caron, French Director General of the Dutch East Indian Company and French East Indians Company. Stop right there. He was a director of the Dutch East Indian Company and the French East Indies. Don't Dutch speak French?
Yep.
Okay.
Because the same people.
Winston Churchill, British Prime Minister. Cyril Cillier, Boer, Vortiker. Richard Walter Dare, NSDAP, Reich, Agricultural Minister. Constant de Abenet, French nobleman, father of Madame de Maintenon, second wife of Louis XIV. Maximilien de Bethune du Desailly, Marshal of France. François Antoine de Bossy de Angles, French statesman. Samuel de Champlain, French explorer, founded Quebec City, born into a Huguenot family, died a Roman Catholic. Whoa.
He hit the reverse switcheroo.
I mean, what better way to sully somebody's name to say that he was born into a Huguenot family and then he died a Roman Catholic? But we gonna put him in here because he was born a Huguenot.
That's how they do our ancestors and saying that they were slaves.
That's true. Louise de Caligny, wife. Oh, so that's Louise. Louise de Caligny, wife of William the Silent. Hector Theophilus de Clabehe, Lieutenant Governor of Quebec. Titular Lieutenant, Governor of Detroit. Frederick William de Klerk, President of the Republic of South Africa, September 1989 through May 1994. Johannes de Montenay, Physician of New Amsterdam and Vice Director of New Netherlands. James Delancey, Governor of New York. Jean-Francois de la Roque de Rabeval, First Lieutenant Governor of French Canada. René Goulain de Laudonnière, French explorer. Lothar de Mézières, German politician. Thomas de Mézières, German politician. Isaac de Ramier, Mayor of New York City. Maurice Couvet de Morville, French Prime Minister. Eleanor de Esmir de Oblis, Countess of Williamsburg, grandmother of King George II of England. Louis de Bois, colonist to New Netherlands, co-founder, duPont, New York. Pierre Dugas, Sieur de Monts, French colonizer of Canada. Pierre Samuel Dupont de Nemours, French writer, economist, government official. Alexander Dupre, second Earl of Caledon, governor of the Cape of Good Hope, 1806 to 1811.
Hold on 1 second before you go. Everyone listening, stop what you're doing and pay attention from this point right here. Please do. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you good, because I was gonna bring attention to this anyway.
Hard hats on, double 10 straps. Let's go.
D.F. du Toit, co-founder of Africans Language Movement, Society of Real Africans. S.G. du Toit, co-founder of Africans Language Movement, Society of Real Africans. What is the Society of Real Africans? Do we want to go there?
Let's go.
Might as well.
I might stay at the door. I'm undecided.
The Genootschap van Rete Afrikaneers, Africans for Society for Real Afrikaneers, was formed on 14 August 1875 in the town of Paarl by a group of Africans speakers from the current Western Cape region. From 15 January 1876, the society published a journal in Afrikaans called Die Afrikaans Patriot, the Afrikaans Patriot, as well as a number of books, including grammars, dictionaries, religious material, and histories. Die Afrikaans Patriot was succeeded in 1905 by today's Paarl newspaper. Arnoldus Pavanivis, a teacher, is generally considered to be the spiritual father of the society. He had observed that most of South Africans from Dutch descent could not speak the pure form of their original mother tongue anymore. Stop.
Dun 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 dun.
He had observed that most of the South Africans from Dutch descent could not speak the pure form of their original mother's tongue anymore. In the course of its then 200-year-old history, the language of the immigrants from Netherlands had been thoroughly changed by the influence of the other European immigrants, indigenous tribes such as Kohi, and especially Cape Malays. In 1874, Pennewy expressed his views in the Journal of the Zuid Afrikaan under the title Is Die Afrikaans Westelijk in Taal. So hold on.
Let's talk about it.
This says that there were many people from Dutch ancestry that had come to South Africa. So we know they were French.
Uh-huh.
And he said their language had been influenced by the Kohi. So let's see who those people are. It says,
remember, influenced by other European immigrants.
Right. It said these individuals are traditionally nomadic, pastoralist, non-Bantu indigenous population of southeastern Africa. They are grouped with the hunter-gatherer San under the compound of Khoisan. While it is clear that the presence of the Kohiko in South Africa predates the Bantu expansion, it is not certain by how much, possibly the late Stone Age, or displaced by the Bantu expansion to the southern East Africa. So they maintained large herds. Okay.
Why does this sound so familiar?
But I'm going to question again. The very first thing they said, other European immigrants. Why they don't say a name? European, that's a broad brush.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So who are these other Europeans that's in South Africa with these people? Because we know they're not French or Dutch because they're saying other. And we know they don't speak the same language because they said their language got messed up from being around these other European immigrants in these tribes.
Mm-hmm.
So it had to be somebody that didn't speak the same family language that they speak. So who else over there off that continent was in Africa? That's a good question.
And we know that we know that the
No,
Huguenots sought refuge in Southwest Africa. Their words, not ours.
Right.
It says the 8 founding members were Gideon Malherbe, the Dutch immigrant C.P. Huguenot, D.F. de Troyes, nicknamed Deuter or Doctor, a journalist coincidentally named Daniel Francois de Troyes, nicknamed Uncle. His brother, Reverend S.J. Detroit, Angus Archbeck, Petrus Malherbe, and S.G. Detroit. I'm just saying Detroit. That sounds better. Everybody except Huguenot and Archbeck were related. Many of these were Huguenot of Huguenot descent. On 14 August 1975, the African Language Museum was opened in the former house of Gideon Malherbe in Paarl, the building in which the society was founded. The Afrikaans language movement was also opened in Paarl in 1975, commemorating the 100th anniversary of the founding of the society.
Question.
So these people created the African language, created the term African. Who's an African?
Go ahead, Free, with your question.
Aren't there Gideon Bibles found in the drawers of all hotel rooms?
Mm-hmm. At least it used to be.
And Bones, to answer your question, you are. Let him tell it.
Rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper.
Timelines are getting longer and longer. Or actually, no, they're getting taller and taller, I should say.
They're getting clearer and clearer.
That too.
So when did we start using the term? When did the term African start really being used?
I think Jay-Z said it, $500,000 for bail because I'm African. Was that first?
Think about it. It didn't become our official name until 2000.
Right. We became
probably the 1900s.
Yeah.
So who was writing this history in these books, telling this story about these so-called African people?
The Huguenots.
That was
Matter of fact,
1999.
I'm sorry. My apologies.
Go ahead, Frank.
As a matter of fact, in the 1828 Webster's Dictionary, which is one of their oldest dictionaries, they don't even have the word Africa. They just have Afrique, A-F-R-I-C. And the definition is one of the four quarters or largest division of the globe, a continent separated from Europe by the Mediterranean Sea. That's it.
So it's not even being
where's
used,
all
right?
this Africa? Correct. So
It's like, hey, that's
African?
you. Where? Where is me?
Thank you. Now listen to the 1828 definition of Europe. It says, Picard supposes this word to be composed of whiteface, the land of white people, as distinguished from the Ethiopians, blackface people, or tawny inhabitants of Asia and Africa. The great quarter of the earth that lies between the Atlantic Ocean and Asia, and between the Mediterranean Sea and the North Sea. So my question is this: if you're claiming that Europe is whiteface, which we know the whole earth was swarthy, but we'll go with your 1828 definition. If you're claiming that Europe was whiteface, and then you're saying Ethiopia is blackface, and then you're saying Asia and Africa are tawny, that in and of itself throws a huge monkey wrench in your caste system. Somebody got some explaining to do.
Oh, Lucy.
Oh, man.
African American, Jesse Jackson and them, they coined it in 89, but legally it didn't come down to your name until the 2000 census.
Right. We were not allowed to self-identify in the census for resources, which basically means that's the only time it counts until 2000. So that means in the 1990 census, African American didn't exist.
It did not exist. It did not get on the census of 2000.
Man, come on, man.
Now go back and
Uh,
look at the class systems that they give you on the census. Read them carefully, and then look and see who they're really speaking about. Each one. Why do some people say origins in, and then other people are just people groups?
Man, I want to play that video again. Did we play that video? That video was awesome. But that is exposing too much. What are y'all doing?
David Corey says, so I was African American in school.
And in spirit, apparently.
Yeah, from 89 to 2000. Yeah, you was just African American in spirit. They were conditioning you to get used to the name. So when the 2000s came, when you was able to self-identify, you would naturally identify with that. You've been claiming it and hearing it in music and entertainment and television.
Yep. I was about to say, don't forget. That's where you was hearing it. It wasn't just school. It was not just school where you was hearing it at.
Yeah, go back and look at from 90s to 2000 and look at, do you think it's coincidence we dominated television 90 to 2000? There was more so-called Black American primetime television shows between 90 and 2000.
Stop playing.
Do you realize we dominated radio? Every place you turned, you heard and you seen that. The 90s is the same time that they put hip-hop music on us. Poison Clan, Brand Nubian. Come on, Public Enemy. Look at the conditioning. Look at the conditioning.
And then to further add insult to injury, the moment that the census dropped and we all claimed African American, the shows got canceled. A majority of those artists were no longer around. We went into a different genre of music as far as rap goes. And then we no longer heard anything about African American or African anything. Coincidence?
They used the music to condition you real quick for what they needed you to do. They always doing it. They doing it now.
You about to say something, Free? Go ahead.
I was just agreeing with what you said. A different world.
I mean, Randolph and Mortimer pulling the rug now. Right after that, it's like, all right, we did it.
Crazy.
And if you think about it, many people in my generation, they actually say that if it wasn't for A Different World and for The Cosby Show, they would have never thought about going to college. You think that's a coincidence?
Not hardly. No such thing as coincidence in any indigenous language, by the way.
Do anybody remember at the height of The Cosby Show, the intro changed to an African type intro at the height of the show's career? That wasn't by coincidence.
Y'all still don't know how to dance like Africans, though.
Dancing around barefoot with kente clothes.
So that whole thing was to get us into moving towards that direction of being African American. So we would be accepting of that title, pulling us further and further away from who we are as a people. Well, let's put it this way, who many of us are as a people, because there are some of us who have African descendants. So I'm not going to pin everybody with indigenous to the Americas.
But even to show you how much dirtier it was, see, this plan started before then. Knock 10 more years off and go to the 80s. Now that you understand why they flooded the hoods with drugs, they put the drugs in there to get you in a down mindset, then come give you a false image of hope, the African American. But now if we go back to the 70s, they had shows on TV conditioning you to be okay with living in the hood. Good times and stuff like that. Be okay with the struggle because we should be struggling. And back it up 10 more years. You can see the conditioning. It's always 10 years before they lay the plan out, they start the conditioning. That's entertainment's job, propaganda.
And if you think about that, when we was talking about last week about the Civil Rights Act and how we were all living in the same neighborhood in segregated schools. Then they forced integration, and then the Europeans end up moving, and our ancestors couldn't move because of redlining and bad loans. So they end up getting us being stuck in these neighborhoods to where they can then turn around and infiltrate our neighborhoods and stuff with drugs. It was all a plan. Everything preceded everything else, which was nothing more than a plan.
What was their slogan? Kill the Indian, save the man?
Yep.
Look like what they doing to me. Look at the condition they got us under right now. Look at the music and entertainment that we see now. More
Right now.
violence towards our own people. Music to where teaches our youngers not to show respect, not to follow what came before. Start over from scratch. Reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's happening right in front of our eyes.
Work harder, not smarter.
Exactly. Which makes you always feel like you're behind the 8 ball. So you already have that sense of being at the bottom of the social ladder. But then when it comes to trying to actually get your feet underneath you and pull your own weight, you think you have to reinvent the wheel while everybody else is using what's been put in place for you the whole time. Yeah, what do you have to leave to the next generation? A righteous man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That's just a principle of life itself. Like, come on now. We can't keep thinking that we need to be the first to do something new. How about we just go back through the door that we walked out of and reclaim what belongs to us for our legacy?
I mean, the door is wide open.
I'm with that.
I mean, it's so wide open it ain't even funny. David Corey reminiscing, talk about all the shows, living single. And these shows are written about us, about people that didn't even know us. Go ahead, Bones.
And what Free said, you can take the time out and see it in reality. A father works his whole life, get old enough, passes away, but leaves nothing for the son or the other children. So they grow up having to work their whole life and return, leave nothing behind for their children who have to grow up working so hard. It's this cycle. We must break these cycles. This cycle that we stuck in that's all prepared by our own self-destruction.
Meanwhile,
we can control this.
Meanwhile, you got people in the Huguenot society and other societies who know their genealogy, teach their children their genealogy. Their children follow suit, and these children end up standing on the ceiling of their parents, which basically means they don't have to start where their parents start. So they getting a start on a penthouse floor, and then they create another penthouse for their kids. While we're taking pride for making our kids start where we started. That sounds like major code violation to me, but that's just my personal opinion. So we wanted to point out about this Afrikaans language and the movement of the real Afrikaneers, because it gives you the opportunity to see who's painting the picture, who's behind that curtain of Oz, and who controls the story. And when you know who controls the story, then it's easy to decipher the code. It's easy to understand who they're talking about. It's easier to understand what they're doing. Now, that does not mean go out and riot, go out and cause trouble, and try to overtake the government. Because as somebody that served 3.5 years in the military, I don't care how many hoods you get. You ain't taking over nothing in the United States of America.
Oh man.
Because they got these things called bunker busters. They'll take out your whole block. One bomb will uproot you and your whole society. Play with them if you want to. This ain't a
And
game.
that's not saying when you take that approach that means that you're afraid or scared. No, that means that you're being wise. Because I'm gonna say it again. Why are we gonna keep being so reckless to send our young men and women out there unprepared, and we screaming war, we screaming fight? Don't even have the skill set forward. Come on, that's stupidity.
Man, I heard
How can you be thinking about the further generations if you're trying to wipe them all out now on something that you're afraid to do yourself? So you're gonna send the younger generation to go do it. Come on, man.
I heard somebody say if push comes to shove, they're gonna take what they want. Obviously, they don't know anything about declaring martial law. You ain't taking nothing when they declare martial law. All the exits get closed off, all the ports get shut down. Water ports
Bank
and
accounts can be
airports.
frozen and seized.
Your phones will be shut off. If you got your car's got an electrical start, that'll get shut off. You ain't taking nothing but your hind parts home to your no electricity and no cable. Talking about something you ain't taking nothing.
My question is this: who are you taking from? Because if somebody comes to my door talking about they taking something that belongs to me, you have a problem. So who are you taking from? And who are you to take from anybody? Why don't you have your own? Stop all that. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Damn.
I mean, seriously. Like, we really, in this day and time, that's what we talking about? Grow up.
Man, I was thinking about age when you said that.
Go to Moon said that's a dummy mission. I mean, it is because people fail to realize, and this is people, and I'm assuming that people that talk like that have never been anywhere outside of their county or their state, and they've never traveled. Like I've always stated, name me one country that has a military on U.S. soil. But the United States has.
Oh, United States. The United States. That's the answer, right?
No. Outside the United States. Outside the United States, there is nobody. There is no country, nowhere, got a military base on United States soil.
With a big H. Where?
But the United States Army and the military has over 800 bases outside its borders.
Put it in perspective, there's 190 countries that have a base in 130 of them. What are you really doing? They have bases in 130 of the 190 countries of the world. Come on, man.
They play too much.
But you gonna take something. You gonna take a L. That's what you gonna take. You gonna take a seat. That's what you gonna take.
Hey, at least they get to take something. They said they was gonna take something.
Yeah, they didn't tell you what they were taking.
Look, hey now, they prove yourself.
David Corey said the Huguenots have over 800 bases.
Wow.
Be nice, David. Be nice. That's conjecture. We can't prove it. Although there are some Huguenots in some prominent places in the military, I'm sure they have some control or some swage. They can assuage some people to do some things. But at the end of the day, the point that we're getting across is that this is a society of people who know who they are, and in order for you to be a part of them, you have to know your genealogy. And if you don't know your genealogy, how are you going to know anything? How are you going to do anything? You don't have the numbers. So you're just going to get a bunch of people together, claim that you're indigenous to a land where it has already been given rights to, first by the indigenous people, and then by the government. So you just going to usurp all that because you Billy Badbutt. And you're going to say, well, we indigenous, so we claiming all this, we going to get it all back. So not only did you create one problem, you created two. The first problem you created with the United States government. Okay, you Billy Bad Boy, you get past them. The second problem you got is these Indians that live on this land that's got right to this land. The over 1,200 local Indians. You going to take the land from them too? Have you had a conversation with them? Have you ever been on their land? Because I promise you, they know the land like you know the back of your house. You come talk about taking something, you're going to take more than the L back with you. I promise you that. They waiting on you. So
what if you mess around and you take from your own people? You don't even know it. Like, come on now. Like, come on. I'm with Golden Moon. That's a dummy mission.
If you know like I know, if you know like history dictates, regardless of how you want to view history, why don't you get some relationships with some countries that's going to validate you? That might help you out. Get some treaties with them. Oh, that would mean you'd have to leave. And if you're on that sovereign citizenship, you can't leave because you can't get a passport because you don't have a valid ID. Because you're stuck. Oh well, hate to be you. So how everybody doing? Good? Really?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, but that's why here at a Continental Assembly, we constantly reverberate doing your genealogy, knowing who you are, finding the tribe that your people tie back to. If you wish, tie back into that tribe. Work on being self-sufficient. Because now knowing what was done and how it was done, the solution is to start minding our business, to start accessing these same mechanisms that was designed for us and start using them for us, to start taking responsibility of our neighborhoods and our communities, to start making sure the messages and images that represent us in our proper light. These are the solutions that individuals can start picking up no matter where you are. It starts with self. It starts with you willing to make a change. You willing to not only say enough is enough, willing to, how Free always say, get on code, live by it. Not just when we on YouTube, not just when we meet in the Rising, but it counts once the show go off. It counts on how many people in your community know who you are. How many people in your community that you can help know who they are. We know it's a numbers game. And we know we are a couple of 100 years behind. But we can conquer anything once we start stepping back in the light on who we truly are.
Well said.
Big fact.
Can I put in a request for a new hard hat because mine is cracked?
You might have to go with a new manufacturer.
Oh,
They ain't
we gotta
supposed to
do
crack
something.
They're not supposed. We gotta. Yeah. Man, you have to manufacture them myself. Much work to do. They don't know what we're doing. Then it.
Alright. So we need to reconvene for tomorrow so everybody can get new gear, come back with a new perspective, start looking up some of these Huguenots to see exactly what they do and how they do it. So before we let these people get on with their day and help the community, Free, is there anything that you want to say to the good people before we move forward?
It was an absolute pleasure building with you guys as always. Since I read some other definitions in the 1828 real quick, I just want to read the 1828 definition of American. Because even though we all know it, A lot of us started on this journey from this definition. As we were reading through the Huguenot names, you asked, how could it be that all these French names are now just listed as American? So we have to revert back to American. Now, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. If we're not doing our genealogy, if we're not directly tying ourselves back to our ancestral land, we're willingly giving over our birthright. So I encourage any and every one of you, if you haven't started the journey to do your genealogy, there's no better time than now. If you've already started the journey, please continue, because the more you know about yourself, the more you feel responsible and directly tied into your land, the more powerful you are. So again, just continue to be the best versions of you that you can be. I look forward to seeing you guys back tomorrow rising in the chat. Much love and peace to everyone.
Oh, you saying you ain't coming back? All right.
I'm always here. Come on now.
I heard that.
Appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your opinion and also your voice. Really do appreciate that, and that has been an honor.
The pleasure was mine.
I echo those sentiments. And you always got an open spot on the panel. So come back anytime you feel froggy. Ribbit, ribbit. So no sellout. What you got to say before we let the good people get on their way?
It is Wednesday, correct? Yes. Appreciate everybody for coming out today. And, you know, just like y'all show up all the time. The links are in the chat. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or corrections, you can email us at entendeusassembly@gmail.com. Peace, y'all.
I echo everything. I have nothing else to say except for thank you everybody for coming out and bearing with us as we went through our technical difficulties, overcame them to move forward. So, you know, hopefully everyone has a great day. And with that, Bones, it's on you, and you can take us out with the last words.
All right. There's nothing else for me to say. They're going to say it all. But basically, continue the conversation over on the forum at ancestry.com. And also, it's an updated global messaging on there now. So if you're on the website, you can constantly message different people in the community while you're on the website doing your genealogy, filling up some more information. And again, that's at www.ancestry.com. And like we say, it's always fun when we kick it with the relatives. No place we'd rather be. And until tomorrow's Rising Show, peace.
Hold on, you trying to say we got like a A2 Google? Or A2 Hangouts?
Yeah. Well, he just tried to slide out of here.
Yeah, from the website, you don't even have to leave. From the website, you don't have to leave it. Any page on the website, we can message each other, keep the conversations going. Like we said, there's also a form. You create your own user profile, upload your pictures. You can put your genealogy information in there to help people or just to get it to us so we can get questions and stuff back to you. Like I said, the mechanisms are designed for us to start having our own platforms. Now it's up to us to start using them, and everything is free.
Free 99.
Look forward to seeing you all over there.